Hello, magical beings. How are you? Welcome or welcome back. Really felt called to drop in with you and have a little parlay. It's interesting. I came up here last night. I felt really called to connect to Sage, pull a card really drawn to Dragonfey. Started recording on my Chromebook and it was recording, but it just didn't save. But maybe that message was just for me, right? So I'm just trusting that this will save. It's interesting. I'm noticing how messages are coming through different. Some of them are like Spirit speaks, and it's like straight through. I don't really know what's going to come through, what it's about, who it's for. And then other times it's like this build up of a thread, a theme, notifications, and then how it weaves through my human experience and what my human wants to share about it, and really just connecting in that way. We can kind of open up the space and have a higher conversation and have a parlay, right? And this is what this one is, and it's really about something that I had a dream about a couple of years ago, and the energy of it is coming back through again now. And the dream was I was underground. It felt like in some sort of underground, not tunnels, but like a big bunker. It was quite dark, but it felt safe. It felt like we were invisibility cloaked. It felt like it was a safe space. There were people flooding in, and it was like I was on a gate, or like a gatekeeper, and like ushering people in to safety. It felt a bit apocalyptic, but I wasn't in any fear. And the notable thing about the dream, and at the time I must say I was in a bit of resistance as to a lot of the different aspects of my path, mission, the flavour of it. I was in a little bit of resistance to it. I was in a bit of resistance to that apocalyptic feel, right? And I think that was my human, like, not necessarily wanting to acknowledge the way the world's going and how that could end up before the newness breaks, if that makes sense. But the overwhelming feeling was when people were coming in, they were relieved, like they were coming, it was obvious that they were coming from some type of chaos. In other words, they were coming to safety. We were holding the safe space, we were ushering people in, but the overwhelming thing that was noted in the dream is that the people coming in had a sense of, they had an energy, or they were carrying an energy of shame. And in the sense that it was shame for not having seen the truth sooner. It was like an energy of a mass humbling. And myself and my partner were there. There was nobody else with us. And we were like, it's okay. Just come in. It's okay. And the first thing that we had to do, the first thing that I did in the dream, and this was kind of the end of the dream, before anything was discussed, whatever we were there to do, to discuss, to formulate, to come together for, there was a need before that to address the elephant in the room, which was the fact that it was like myself and my partner, it's all symbolic, myself and my partner in this dream were symbolising the truth that we'd always known and held, even though we were ridiculed, even though we were scorned, disbelieved and laughed at. And then the mass consciousness coming in had a sense of humility, recognition, and a little bit of they were judging self, because one, they hadn't seen it coming, they hadn't believed it, and they had been the ones to scorn, ridicule, laugh at and put down the truth that had been coming through for a while. And there was a need to address that in the space, in the room. And in the dream, I stood up and said, let's just come together in the awareness that we are all in this together. It doesn't matter who saw what first. It doesn't matter what's been said up until now. This is a clean slate. And let's lay down this energy of, I'm sorry I didn't see it. I'm sorry I didn't trust you. And this energy of beating self up. That feeling of, I've been tricked. Am I stupid or something? Why didn't I see this coming? And this is what the thread is here, because in the last couple of days, I've really felt this overwhelming, or been shown it through my own experience. It's very difficult to put into words. We are at a point of change. The tipping point is where those who have previously been so certain that they were right, so invested in the reality that's been created, so trusting in the systems, the powers that were, that don't have our best interests at heart, that they laughed at the sensitive ones. They scorned the ones who have always been soft and loving, even in the face of the narcissistic abuse. They pushed aside and put down the relevance of tenderness and care in this world. There's going to be a big humbling in that way. There's going to be a wave of realization from some souls. A wave of realization of like, oh my God, they were right all along. Now, I think the reason that this is coming through is there's a message within there, or there's an anchor that we're all being asked, sensitive souls, empaths, way showers, light bearers, the ones who've known all along, the ones who've seen what's happening, tried to tell our family and friends and were not listened to, were shunned, cast out again. The reckoning is coming. Because the rise of magic, the restoration of the feminine, is the restoration of magic to its rightful place in this world. To be respected, revered, honoured. That's the balancing that's happening. The feminine energy is the intuition, is the unseen, is the space in between, it is the magic, it is the instinct. So it's a restoration of that energy of magic itself back to a space where it is seen for what it is, it's respected, it's revered. And the magic in all of us, the softness, the gentleness, the sensitivity, the keen senses, all the fine nuances that go on in the space in between. The one that knows, the one who knows. We've been so ignored, cast aside, sidelined. You don't know what you're talking about. That kind of energy, right? The scorn energy. There's been a bloom of it in society recently. There's been a bloom of the belligerence and the kind of arrogant kind of, that kind of energy. The one who thinks it knows, but it only knows in the old framework. It only knows what it's been told. It has invested so much in that consciousness is going to face a tower, a crumbling. It is going to have to humble to itself. It is going to have to admit that it's invested its whole life, its energy, its intelligence, its everything in a system that's fucked it over. And now it has to come home to the truth, and we are the truth. We've represented that because we've held that space. We've carried the torch. And I think what's coming through now is part of the reason that I shunned that part of my mission is because I didn't want people. I don't want people to feel like that. I don't want people to feel anything bad. But right, I can't control that. You know, I've spent my whole life trying to. I think most of us, all of us who are sensitive souls, magical beings, you know, carrying the light, our whole lives, part of the reason we've been people pleasers, massive people pleasers, trying to make everything all right, is because we know in our heart and soul what it is to suffer and to carry the weight of something that is unrecognised, unappreciated, scorned. So it's so much so it's become a burden. It became dangerous. But we carried that because we know the truth in it, and we know the truth of what is right, when most of the world hasn't. And when in that dream, when everyone was brought in and I felt their shame, I felt them judging themselves, I felt them feeling stupid because they'd been tricked. I know what that feels like. We all do. All of us on this journey have been through the phase where we felt done over, tucked up. And there is self-forgiveness there, because you do have to come to that point where you're like, do you know what? I was tricked. We were tricked. Humanity was tricked. It doesn't mean that we're dumb because we let that happen. So there's an element of self-forgiveness there, and that addressing in the dream, addressing the crowd, addressing that space where you give the reassurance. You're like, I know how you feel, because we've been through that energy on this path. We've been through that phase. You're facing it now. We've been there, and it's okay. We're holding the space for you. We were all tricked, all of us. And whether I saw it first or you saw it first, it doesn't matter, because it's not a competition. We have left. One thing you left at the door when you came in this bunker, when you escaped from that and came to safety, you left the burden at the door. The burden of shame, blame, comparison, competition, punishment. That energy it's not supported here. We've left it at the door. There's nothing to feel ashamed about anymore. It's not ours to carry. The whole of humanity was tricked. Part of the role of being highly conscious at this time, and already having done a lot of the steps and healing and realizations and natural initiations from life at this point, already done that. Part of the purpose of that is so that we can hold space for others who are coming to the realizations themselves, coming to see the chaos in a different way, having that drop, that mic drop moment where you're like, oh fuck, we've all been lied to, and all the feelings that go with that. It's a phase, it's a part of the journey, it's a part we've all had to go through and experience, and it does take self-forgiveness, it takes perspective, it is a humbling. And then you suddenly look at people who've been saying what's what for a long time in a different light. You're like, right, okay. They went first. They know what I'm going through. People are going to need a lot of love and compassion, and it's going to be the very people who've put you down. It's going to be the very people who've shunned you and made you feel like you're a spare part. People in our family, our exes, baby mums, dads, people that we've made lives with, people we've spent our whole life with, because we've all grown up in the old paradigm. We're the ones that popped out of our family line and decided, right, well, we didn't decide, we did, but we're like, right, okay, I'm not having this anymore. It doesn't feel aligned anymore. I know there's something truer, deeper. We're sometimes the only ones in our whole family who take this path first, who see the truth first. And then often we're like the isolated one, and the attitude, the energy that we receive from people has been one of scorn, ridicule. Don't be silly. And think about the banter of the old world. It's ruthless. The banter growing up. I mean, I wasn't brought up street. I was brought up actually in a really good family and well resourced and protected and safe, but I went wild of my own volition at about the age of 12 or 13, and I then took myself out of safety. It was boring, I rejected it, and I took myself into a lot of situations and took myself into a very dark space to experience the contrast, and then had to come back around, come out of that, and back around to my anchor, to what's true, to what's truly me. It's an interesting one when you've been fully in the old world, in the transition, and then to be fully in the new. You know, I remember when my consciousness was completely contained in that old construct, and I was inside feeling, knowing truth, feeling different, feeling everything, but with no outlet for that. And a lot of us that have grown up like that, it's only now, it's only recently that we can start to actually move in a way that's true to us, speak in a way that's true to us, speak up and stand up. And yet still, out there in the mass consciousness, in the family dynamics, in the old structures, still there's this energy of, you know, that is it's almost making me want to cry. It's being completely, it's like the wheel of fortune is turning. And what was at the bottom here, which is sensitivity, peace, love, all the things that are fucking worth having in this life, that have been discarded, made to feel like they're pointless, nothing, or just some light, fluffy, fanciful thing, rather than the keys to life. The wheel is turning. We're coming up. Coming to that supreme place of witness, and we are going to have to humble ourselves. If there's any part of us that's still in the I told you so, see, I'm not saying that it won't be satisfying. It's going to be very satisfying because I fucking waited lifetimes for this. But there's no part of me anymore that feels smug. There's no part of me that wants to beat someone over the head with it and goes, I told you so. You've made me feel like this for ages, for my whole life, and I fucking told you. There's such a deep compassion coming in. Because it is a travesty, it's criminal how decent human souls have been so lied to. And when all these people out there who have been the ones thinking that they're so right about everything, and that seems to be so important to everybody in 3D, in the contrast consciousness, everybody wants to be right. They want to prove themselves right. You hear it in the structure of all manner of conversations in daily life. People chirp up and talk over each other often because they want to be the one that's right. They want to be the one who's seen as the authority. You know, and it's a humbling for us all that actually the authority is God. The authority is the divine. The authority is this sacred earth and her resources and innate power, as she's just sat silently as we've all trampled on top of her for millennia. And the force of that, the natural divine justice, and this is the judgment day as far as I'm concerned, is when consciousness gets to a tipping point individually, and then the mass consciousness where the truth can no longer be denied. And just the same as we've been asked to be the ones to walk first, to heal first, to see things first, to see the truth in silence and suffer that in silence as well, to build that strength and discernment so that we know we're right, but it's not about being right. It's about holding truth and standing for that. Rising above the polarity within us, that's wanted to prove the new truths that we're finding out. We've wanted to speak them, we've wanted to prove them, we've wanted to show them. We've wanted everyone to come on board. We've wanted people to believe us, believe in us. And it hasn't come, it didn't come. So we've had to cultivate this very deep inner trust of self, this very deep surrender that regardless of anyone is receiving us in this moment or believes it, we know it to be true because we're communing with God and we see things beyond time, space. We've all had to initiate ourselves into our own gifts and realise that a lot of the stuff that we've seen is beyond linear time, to learn how to receive the symbolic language of the universe. Like that dream, for example, there was a part of me that was like, oh my God, that feels really apocalyptic. Like, there was a part of me that, say for example, that is the way the world went. Say the dream was literal and it was like, right, you're going to be required to be the strength, yeah, when everyone else is like afraid, screaming in fear, panicking, running in different directions, confusion, chaos. I mean, I know that I have that in me. I've always been a very strong, when the shit's hitting the fan, I'm really calm. I've always been that way anyway. But then there was a part of me when it comes to my spiritual journey, was still getting used to the fact that this is deep as fuck. This is deep. And if you have New Earth leadership codes within you, this ain't light and fluffy. This is not going to look like a nice little healing journey where we just support people and it's all nice. No. This is so much deeper, so much more catastrophic with the implications. It's so hard to put it into words. And whatever it looks like, the stand that we individually take, whatever that looks like, it could be pretty fierce. There are plenty of people who have got the role to be activists or to stand in some sort of physical, deliberate way. And there was a part of me that was like, no, I don't want that role. No. I don't want to stand for truth. It's too deep. People don't want to hear it. Why can't it feel nice? But over the years, I've kind of realised that, that's just small self wanting everything to stay comfortable, right? But that's an illusion anyway, and it keeps us small. So I've kind of got over that anyway. But there's just this deeper feeling coming back around in another layer. It's the same energy, it's the same aspect of the dream. We know how people feel when this happens, whatever it is, if it happens in stages, increments, if it's happening in your personal life, if it's individual awakenings. I feel like we're all going to start to feel this energy, this reckoning, this rebalancing, this tipping of the scales. And in that moment, we are required to be the divine frequency, the bigger person. But it's not even that. It's just like we're going to be required to truly anchor in the strength of the values that we have learned and say that we stand for, so that when other human beings stand in front of us, at that moment of realization, at that mic drop moment where the truth really drops into their body, so that we are beyond the urge to say, I told you so. Beyond the urge that wants some sort of retribution and revenge and just thinks, oh well, you'll have to deal with it, I did. And we can just literally come with the deepest, most still acceptance, love and compassion. Are we beyond taking things personally yet? Because this world needs mature humans, and that's what we're going to be asked to do as people come home to the truth. So yeah, that's the energy that's coming through today. It's this reckoning energy. And knowing that we've gone first for a reason and we are all in this together. There is no separation. It's interesting because it's just, there's so many signs and synchronicities of that very fact at this time as well. Like, we're all connected, everything's so divine. Abby, I don't know whether you're watching this one, but you put on a comment on one of the last videos as well, how, you know, whenever you tune in, it's like you're receiving exactly the same thing, and that's it. That's a perfect demonstration. We are one. We are consciousness. We are vibrating at the same frequency of consciousness. We're a match. So all I'm doing is mirroring, channeling, speaking, expressing and mirroring what is in that field, what is available for all of us to pick up. And it's only ever confirming, right, what you already know, who you already are. Keys, activations, affirmations, confirmations. And that's what all this is about now. It's like the divine mirror. We're all in this space of equality where it's all available, all accessible. And one by one, we're finding our unique voice, our unique expression, our unique connection and affiliation with that, and how that wishes to move us. The universe is speaking so clearly, so powerfully at the moment to all of us when we are able to listen, through the animals, through the air, through nature, the elements, through everything, through people, life experiences. Yesterday, all day, I was journaling and writing because I'm coming to a point of putting out, launching an offering that I've just finished creating. It's been 3 years in the making. I don't know why it's taken me so long. So I was really proud of myself, and I thought, right, I'm at a point of speaking about this now. And I'm really good, you know, I'm a speaker, I'm a writer, but when it comes to talking about myself or describing exactly what I do, I actually find it quite difficult. So I have to brain map it. I have to splurge it all out on paper. It's an effort for me. It's a task. So I was doing that all day, and I thought, right, the page is Freedom Codes, Breaking the Matrix. And I was like, divine intelligence breaks the matrix. We're breaking the matrix with divine intelligence. And I literally went on my page to edit my bio with that or something, and a reading popped up from another sister, not entitled that, it was entitled something Priestesses, but I clicked on it. Well, I thought I'll have a listen in the background. Straight away she's talking about divine intelligence and artificial intelligence. The same themes, subjects, because spirit is always speaking to us, affirming, yeah, that's on the money there. That's a match for you. Here's a little confirmation, affirmation. Here's a little reassurance for you. So it's absolutely magical. Like, this world is alive with magic. And those of us who know, if you know, you know, and those of us who see and feel it, we will no longer be the outcasts. We will no longer be the batty ones. The fucking ones who are a sandwich short of a picnic. Yeah, the reckoning is coming. And when it does, we will hold the space with love, with no judgment, with acceptance, and allow people to process that in their own way without the same energy that they threw at us, right? Or that we received. Oh, wow. Such powerful times, my loves, and I'm so grateful for this space. I'm really grateful for you, for each and every one of you, beautiful souls, for your energy here and the way that you support me in that way. And just being present so that we can parlay together on these things. That's what it's all about now. Getting everything out, right? The more we express, the less is bouncing around in our head. The more energy we move through in some way, the less it's, like stuck inside of us, which inevitably just goes to the thoughts and the overthinking. So thank you so much for sharing this space. Let me know how you're feeling, or if anything resonates in the comments below. And I'm sending you so much love. Until next time.